So I just drew up a design that you probably can't see right now. I found this design while I was looking at like tomahawks and stuff and see when those were invented. Then I went down the rabbit hole to find like the modern version of the tactical tomahawk hatchet axe thing. I don't know. So I am pretty excited about this. Hopefully you can see it well. And let me get the steel that I'm making this out of. Okay, that was the light. This is heavy. Some piece of this leaf string. Lining this up, I can see that it's definitely not wide enough. So my plan is to I think if I'll figure it out. I don't really know. Anyway, let's cut this up. Probably this bit right here. That's what I want. So now I'm just forging out the handle, just going back and forth between the press and the anvil. And you can see it start to fold a lot. So that just means I have to take it slow and do it all little bits at a time, and you can hear the anvil. But I was not bothered to move the camera, so you're only hearing it. And high IQ moment incoming. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. But I was getting really high hopes right now because the handle was going super easy. And since that was going easy, I thought the entire thing was going to be easy. I was very wrong. So to forge out the head part, I started by getting a really crisp corner, like a good 90-degree transition onto it. And don't do this, by the way. Hitting hardened steel with hardened steel is not a good idea, but those were the only tools I had to do that with, so I had to. And it worked out really well. Then I was trying to upset the whole thing to squish it down. I could not find a good way to do that. I tried so many different ways and nothing was working well. One way had hope and I could have eventually done it, but it would have took forever to get that squished down far enough. And I'm actually pretty proud of this. I was able to find one angle that I'm able to get it into the press at to squish it down. Let me just show you real quick. So to squish like this corner into that corner, like squeeze it, and like that corner into that corner and get that squished down. Then I'll get like that type of shape, and from that shape it's pretty easy to forge out the spike and the axe head. I just need to get that squished down. So that worked really well. I just had to do, it folded again, so I just had to do tiny bits at a time. And again, going back and forth between the press and the anvil to get it flattened back out. And now I need to stop talking so that I can talk. Alrighty, so, hi. So this is going, it's going, so I know right now it looks terrible, but it's actually pretty close. So the spike, I'm gonna wait till the very end to draw out, because when the spike gets super thin, it's gonna be overheating before the rest of the piece heats up properly. So I'm gonna leave that thick so it doesn't overheat while I'm working on the edge. And the edge is small right now, but when I forge the bevels, kind of squish down that material for the edge. That'll give me a lot of width to play with. There's gonna be a lot to grind off and a lot of shaping afterwards. So right now what I'm seeing is it's a little like twisted that way, like edge is down too far, the spike is up too far. That's not too difficult to fix. And then from there, it's pretty much done. Just need to forge up the spike and the bevels. Oh, wait, no, I'm dumb. I just need to do this. Oh, that was so much easier. Oh my God, that's great. Yeah. Now this edge. How much material do I have? I could just grind it off. I do not have that much material. I will not grind it off. Okay, so let me zoom out a little bit. That's going back to the same place, whatever. So, oh my god. Am I in the frame now? Okay, now it's a little too whatever. So this thing's finished forging at least. As you can see, there is a lot of work to do. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do normalizing cycles on it. Since this thing got really hot, the grain size in the steel is going to be really big, and that's bad. It'll make it really brittle, just like wood. Big grain size is really weak wood. Big grain size in steel makes it brittle. So to shrink the grain size, just heating it up to like 1550 and then letting it cool down at its own rate, and then doing that 3 times is going to shrink the grain size again, and the anvil is very hot. So that's what normalizing cycles do, and I'm gonna do that now. Oh. Ah, dang it. I missed the perfect opportunity for a joke. Well, I guess I had an axe to grind. That's not nearly as funny, though. Alright, so this thing is ready to be heat treated, and for that I think I'm going to heat up the entire head and then just quench the edge, and then I'll heat up just the spike with a MAP gas torch and then quench that separately. I think that would be the best way to do it because I can't really quench both sides in oil at the same time. But I do have to be careful when heating up the spike. I don't want the heat to travel to the edge and then ruin the heat treat on the edge. It shouldn't go that far. We should be good. So let's get this hardened. So for the heat treat, I'm checking it with a magnet to see when it stops sticking, and when the magnet doesn't stick to it at all, it's time to quench. And it's gonna be smoking up a lot when you do a partial quench like this because there's a lot of hot metal that's outside of the oil that's burning the oil, making it smoke a bunch. Then I used the MAP gas torch to heat up the spike, and that ended up taking way longer than I expected it to. It was pretty thick, but it eventually got hot enough and I got it hardened and we're all good. And funny joke alert, oh my god, are you ready for the super funny joke? So the tempering on this axe just finished, and now, guess what? I have an axe to grind. I am sorry for that joke, it was not funny, but anyway, I've started grinding the edge, and I did a pretty skinny bevel for an axe just to help it stick into wood like when you're throwing it like a tomahawk. It being able to stick into wood isn't really a practical advantage, but it looks cool and it's fun. So the main bevel is pretty thin, but the secondary bevel at the very edge is going to stay thick just to help the edge retention. It'll stay, just to help the edge retention, and it'll, oh my god. Just to help the edge retention, and it'll be able to keep a very strong edge that'll take a lot of abuse. And for the spike, I did an obtuse grind, and I used that section of the belt that doesn't have any backing. And that's going to keep that point rounded, again, keeping it very tough and strong. And that's all the grinding. This thing's done being ground, it's just oiled up. It's super shiny. And we can trace out the handle pieces. I couldn't find anything that can write on this. Hopefully that's enough to see. Please. Yeah. Yeah, that's enough. Ugh, how accurate is my bandsaw cutting? It's not that accurate. Yeah. Very carefully. Oh. So the throat of the axe, not the bandsaw, definitely not the bandsaw, doesn't cut deep enough. That's unfortunate. Hey, it worked. Look at that. I am way too tired to be recording a video right now. Can you guess what I'm gonna do? Mixy mixy. Now, if I'm doing the math, I'm gonna need exactly a good amount because this is a big knife. This is not a knife. I don't think this is enough. Whatever, it's, Oh yeah, that's enough. Do I have pins? I don't have pins ready. Oopsies. Okay, I was not ready at all. 1 second. What's the work time on that? Like 5 minutes? We're good. Let's go, I'm doing it. I'm so good at this. Let me just scrape up all that unmixed epoxy. That'll go perfect right there. Now is where I break the scale in half. Trying to get it on. Oh, oh, oh. Why am I making these noises? Oh, what, do you want to see what I'm doing? Fine, I'll move the camera. Baby clamp numero uno. Baby clamp numero dos. Baby clamp 3 in Spanish. Baby clamp siguiente. And now, actually I don't think I've mentioned this in a while. I'm gonna clean up the extra epoxy right here because everywhere else I'm going to be grinding. But this section I can't get to after the scales are glued on. So I have to take that extra epoxy off now with some acetone. And now I'll do like a SpongeBob, like 12 hours later transition.
A few moments later.
All right, now that the epoxy is cured, we can take off all of these clamps. And now all we have left to do is all of the handle shaping, grinding off all of the extra material, and I'll do some texturing on it, which I think will look really cool. Should give it plenty of grip, and I'll make it like reflect light in really cool ways. So let's get this handle done. Wait, don't leave yet. I want to compare this to a Warhammer that I made a few videos ago. Now obviously this has a little bit of an advantage, and it did this to a piece of steel. Now I want to see how hard I have to try to do the same thing with this. The tip is still very pointy. Surprised by that. All right, I'd say that's pretty good for how compact and light this is. So, I hope you enjoyed, and you have a safe drive home now. Okay, bye.